and welcome to the answers portion of week 1 of Social Quiztancing. I'm Ryan. I'm back to you from my study at home to give you the answers for your portion. How did you do? You don't know because I haven't read you the answers yet. I hope you found it fun. I hope you had a nice 2-hour break in the interim. So let's get into it. Let's start with some answers. Okay. So the first thing I asked you before was, what non-numerical feature do all odd numbers share? Remember that one? The answer is the letter E. Yep. All of them share the letter E. Every single odd number, there's a letter E. There. So there you go. That's a useless piece of knowledge that's lodged in your brain right now. Okay. How'd you do on that one? All right. Number 2. In Star Trek VI: The Undiscovered Country, Chancellor Gorkon says to not have experienced Shakespeare, you have not experienced Shakespeare until you've read him in the original Klingon. I asked you to name 3 of Shakespeare's plays that have been translated in full into Klingon. Those are Hamlet, Much Ado About Nothing, and most recently, Macbeth. In fact, that one was performed in full a couple of years ago. So if you got each one of those, you got a point. If you got all 3, why not have a bonus point? I also asked you for a bonus point, what does the undiscovered country refer to? That's from a Shakespeare soliloquy. And who said it? Well, it's from Hamlet in his To Be or Not to Be soliloquy. And it refers, of course, being Hamlet, what a guy, to death, right? The undiscovered country is who's born no travel or returns, which puzzles the will. It's that one. If you got that, give yourself a point and a little pat on the back if you want to. Otherwise, make sure you wash your hands first. Okay. Next, I asked you to name the 5 men's names that denote letters in the NATO alphabet. And those are, so give yourself a point for each one, and bonus point if you get them all. Those are Charlie, Mike, Oscar, Romeo, and Victor. Yep. That's them. Next, I asked you to put these geologic eras in order. Now, the answers are, perhaps I would have been better prepared if I'd printed them out in the correct order, but I didn't. So I'm just going to tell them to you and you can check and see if you did them correctly. From oldest to most recent, the current, we have Devonian, Permian, at the end of which there was an extinction which led us into the age of dinosaurs, beginning with the Triassic, the Jurassic, the Cretaceous, and after that, a few more eras until we reach the Pleistocene, and then the one that we're living in right now, did you get it? It's the Holocene. The Holocene is the most recent one. Okay. And in a true achievement of the Holocene era, why is enormous amount of beef jerky displayed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It is Lady Gaga's famous meat dress. She wore to an awards ceremony that in order to preserve for future generations, they had to, as you do with meat, turn it into jerky. So you will see a jerkified, if that's the correct terminology, which I'm positive it's not, jerkified Lady Gaga meat dress. A thing I have not ventured to go see, but, maybe there'll still be museums someday and we can go see them. Great. Okay. Next, in the connections round, I gave you 4 apparently random clues for each question, which boast a sneaky connection between all of them, and it was up to you to find the connection. So the first one I gave you was Clash, Oz, Spinny, and Henson. Did you get it? They are all Sesame Street puppeteers. Sesame Street puppeteers. Kevin Clash, the former disgraced Elmo, Frank Oz, the great Frank Oz, who does Grover, among many others, Miss Piggy. If you want to have something ruined for you, close your ears. If you don't, Yoda and Grover have the same voice. You'll never be able to unhear it. Yoda and Grover. Carol Spinney, retired this year and also passed away this year, was the much beloved, especially in our house, Big Bird, and Jim Henson, of course, being Jim Henson. Next, I asked you what the connection was between these. 1, Nebraska. 2, women. 3, eels. And 4, uranium. It is not what's on the other side of the camera in this room. It is sneaky little word one. You'll notice that the last 2 letters of the first word begin the second word. 2 women, 3 eels. I think the eels probably gave it away. So if you got that one, very good. Next up, we had myriad, 100, century, and atom. This was kind of a tough one. Myriad, 100, century, and atom. They are... Now, myriad means many, but back in the day, in ancient Greece, it meant 10,000. 100 comes from the Norse word hundrath, which means 120. A century was a Roman unit of 80 soldiers. And an atom originally was a measurement of time, and it was originally supposed to be the time it took for the twinkling of an eye, which is nowhere near an objective measurement. My eyes take hours to twinkle. There could be anybody. So it was eventually defined into 1/564th of a momentum, which equals 15/94ths of a second. So they are all units of measurement that used to refer to different units of measurement. Okay. Next, I had one. Tiara, bells, Ariel, and Yasmin. Anyone get this one? This was partially suggested by my 5-year-old. They are, if you change one letter, they become the name of a Disney princess. So we have Tiana, Belle, Ariel, and Jasmine. If you change one letter, you get a free Disney princess. What a great deal. Up next, it is this one. We had living with a goat, hiding in a sewer, rubbing yourself with a chicken, and whipping yourself. You got them right if you said this is our next library program. These are all cures for the plague. 14th century cures for the plague. You could live with a goat, hide in a sewer. The reason for that is that there used to be, before there was germ theory, there was miasma theory, where they thought that the cause of disease was bad air. And they thought that if the plague was being transmitted through fresh, clean air from person to person, that what you could do is hide away from the fresh, clean air in somewhere where the good, clean air would never, deign to go, down in the sewers. So, yeah. Rubbing yourself with a chicken, and whipping yourself, of course, because, the deities demanded it. Showed you were sorry for living. So, yeah, important in these plague years to know some alternate cures. We'll see a list someday that includes burning down a 5G tower and rubbing some oils on your feet. Okay, next was everybody's favorite animal, vegetable, or criminal. All you had to do in this round was tell me whether the clue that I was telling you described an animal, a vegetable, which just refer to any plant, not really a vegetable, just it worked better with the name. Or criminal. Animal, vegetable, or criminal. Okay, so the first clue was, taking its media alias from a kind of train-riding vagrant, serious doubts remain as to its guilt. That was, of course, the Hobo Spider. The Hobo Spider. The humble Hobo Spider was blamed for a series of, like, bites that caused necrotic decay and illnesses and things like that, but scientists now think that the spider is not at all venomous and that people were confusing it for a different spider or just something else altogether. So possibly innocent, might get a pardon, Hobo Spider. Okay. Next, I told you about something that took a photograph with Rosalind Carter, but also was affectionate toward Donald Trump. That was, of course, John Wayne Gacy, killer clown. He was a chapter president of a charitable group called the JCs. The rhyme, I think, was just fun. And was pictured with Rosalind Carter. And in a letter from prison, he was asked who his hero was, and he said that his hero was Donald Trump. So there's that. All right. Next up, it killed Lincoln's mother. Now, if you said animal or vegetable, I would accept those answers for both. And the reason for that is that Lincoln's mother died after drinking the milk, or possibly eating the meat, of cows that had eaten a poisonous plant called white snake root. I consider vegetable to be somewhat more correct here than animal. But why not have a point for either one? So if you had animal or vegetable, take a point for those. Okay. Next, was never able to realize its dream of being a meteorologist because of what was later called its kiss of death. This was, of course, the rosary pea, a vegetable or plant. I guess we're not specific. There was a movement to set up botanical meteorology stations around the nation based on the dubious observation that the rosary pea will change its leaf shape depending on the weather. Whether, if it's going to be sunny out, the leaves will be pointing up. If it's going to rain, the leaves will be pointing down. So that the idea was to have these botanical meteorology stations. Unfortunately, it also had little berries that seemed irresistible to children but would kill them instantly, called the kiss of death. So the rosary pea, thwarted, sadly. And the last one, it was dangerous to not use its cheese. This was, of course, Al Capone. Al Capone. New York City pizzerias were encouraged to use cheese produced by Al Capone's holdings. And if not, risking arson or other, I don't know, cape, what does the mob do? They get angry, they put a horse head somewhere in a pizza, I don't know. Not a mob guy. But that's it. That's the quiz. Those are the answers for this week. Thank you very much for playing. Thank you very much for watching. Please tell us how you did. Tell us how many points you got. Just lie about it if you want. If you just want to seem smart, just give us a number. Doesn't matter. I hope this was fun. I hope this gave you something to do tonight or whenever you happen to do it. Make sure to wash your hands and say hi to a person who might be lonely, and be kind to yourself. And you're doing great. You're doing great. If you have any quiz questions that you would like to send my way, I write all the questions for this. Feel free to do so, and maybe I'll pick a question and put it on here. And get in touch and tell us whether or not you liked it and how you did. So have a great night. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay quizzical. Yeah, let's end with that. Okay. Bye, everyone.